Welcome back, fans and friends. For this upcoming video, actually, I have something else Star Warsy. People will like it, not like it, that's fine. I happen to, if you can't find something to like about characters you don't like, find things you like. So anyway, this is Star Wars Jazwares, The Rise of Skywalker, you can see just there. And this is the TIE Whisper that Kylo Ren flies and then gets destroyed. You can just see there. And this is how much I paid for it. Certainly cheaper than buying the X-Wing miniatures version. And so there you can see it does require some assembly. And you can see there's some dust and dirt marks on the other side. And as it is in the package, you can just see it's upside down. That is the characteristic, they call it the heavy weapons turret from the Special Forces TIE Fighter. And we're just going to take a look at it after, and then you're going to see some of the other ships in the series. We have Sassy Tin's Delta Interceptor, for some unknown reason a battle droid riding a Vulture droid. And here's this one here, and then if I happen to see, I made the mistake, I didn't grab the original TIE Fighter. I happen to like the craft. I think that was, I remember watching the original rather late in the game, but TIE Fighter always had a special place. I don't know if I liked it more than the classical heroic X-Wing, but I do happen to like the design aesthetics, and then they took something good in concept and they sort of didn't do it correctly. But anyway, here we have Jazwares, where it's manufactured, the address and everything else. There you see the logo. And Star Wars, obviously, Lucasfilm, and Micro Galaxy Squadron. So this is their vehicle thing, replacing, I guess, or supplementing their Hot Wheels Mattel releases for this kind of thing. The Mattel releases obviously would be amazing because they're nice and tiny, but I don't know how much the licensing from Mattel is. So. Okay, so just to go over quickly, it obviously, it comes into a plastic insert. You get this little card here, and there's Kylo Ren. I'm not going to fuss too much about it, but basically it's going to be like Shin. He only bends his arms and lower torso to fit in the seat. And I might or may not put him in later. And so the entire craft is held in with the standard elastic, which unfortunately you have to take it apart. There's a little insert that comes inside and outside of the solar collector. And I guess the plastic is to keep the pieces from scratching each other. And you can just see there a lot of the dirt. And it does, however, make it next to impossible to steal, which is great. And so I am back. I just took 30 seconds. So unfortunately, they have these little tie-ins here. I recommend scissors, but what you can actually do is thread the loop. So basically use scissors, because what I did is way complicated. I was too lazy to get up and get scissors. You got to pull out this tab and then literally thread the needle into the holes. You can just see the little holes there. It all fits. You can see I didn't cut them, but it's a great way to break the plastic models. I didn't yet, but it is obviously not as sturdy as it looks. So what I was going to say with this is, you see how that covers that perfectly? Well, sorry, like this. When it's inside the plastic container, it literally has the wing on top. So to keep it from scratching, it has just this piece of plastic, which we all know is great for not damaging things. So interestingly, we have here, I want to say the ejection seat. I will do the normal thing and I'll build it at the end. Sorry, I built it in the beginning just to save us the hassle. And basically what's happening is we are going to put the solar panels on the correct side. So that's good. You see there, you just match up the dirt at the bottom there. It has vibes. So for those of you who've watched the first episode of Andor, kind of has the aesthetics of that Avenger. Unfortunately, there are some minor changes that they have done to, I guess, to make it look ancestral to that rather than outright predecessor to it. So as you can see, we'll start from the beginning. We have there the round ball cockpit, antenna sensor on the right of the craft, so our left. You have the entrance hatch here, and that would be when the ship is in the hangar bay. It's clipped on there, and this is open. People climb down a ladder. Not very practical if the ship is not in a starbase or starship that is meant to hold it, but obviously the Empire has certain restrictions on what they allow people to do on their own time and company time, and that is basically thinking for themselves. We have what I like to call extension sections. You can see here it's done away with this Special Forces TIE Fighters power cell loops, because obviously they've done something to advance the technology in terms of making it smaller. I would prefer actually to have the Type VN of this. I have the X-Wing miniatures, but it's just too small, I guess. Anyway, so from the front, you see there's a heavy weapons turret. Unfortunately, it does not rotate. It literally just does this pushing thing. So this would be, I believe it's another 2 heavy laser cannons plus a ordnance launcher, usually with the ion missiles, and 3 concussion missiles. That would make it a little bit more versatile. Had they gone, I think, with ion cannons here, they could literally turn it around, and if you were chasing in space combat, well, you'd get knocked out really fast. Not destroyed, but knocked out. And then obviously this craft just has so many other fortified weapons and is just irrelevant. And this, for missiles, it's okay. But for energy weapons, which are direct fire, you obviously cannot use this weapon directly left or directly right because of the craft's own panels. And honestly, if you're in a fight, you can hardly look forward, never mind look up, down, left, and right. So anyway, that's just my opinion. And on to the right side of the craft, we have here what I believe we've been told is a, just sticking out there, you can see there the red heavy laser cannon. The top and the bottom 2 red dots are regular ones, and then you have like the TIE Interceptor and TIE Defender, the 2 laser cannons on the end of it. So you have a total of 5 per wing, plus the 2 there, so you have a total of 12 weapons. I have other opinions on how they're used, because it's obviously Star Wars, so you can just make it up however to fit your explanations. Like I said, they just want it to work. They don't need to tell you how it works. We have there, interestingly, the hexagonal, very imperialescent looking strut on the end there, which they would have clipped on in the manufacturing process. You can just see there, all this gray part is the solar panels, which drive the twin ion engines. So there you have the left one, the right one, and what I believe here is the main engine. And once again, you can just see there, if the red part is the weapons, then the turret obviously is facing backwards. See, like I said, because obviously this craft faces this direction. It doesn't face this direction. Although this does look really nice. If you want to make the villain in the starship, that would have been the way to go. Anyway, this is the rear of the craft. You see there the red extensions. There's the antenna. A little bit closer detail. So where they fit the hyperdrive, I believe it could be that. Why don't we just say it is? Nobody's going to tell us it's wrong anyway. Like I said, onto the extension, the struts, you can just see there. The aesthetics of detail, whether or not you know what they do. Onto the right side, sorry, onto the left side, exactly the same as the left side. You have there the strut push through. You have there, once again, you can just see on either side, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, everything almost identical. And I believe Rey destroys it by slicing off one of the struts. I was unsure if the orange you see there was her damage. I don't know. So you can just see how there, and then there's a gap. So I do believe this part might come off, but I'm not going to take it off. That's probably the slash of her lightsaber right there. She slices off, the craft is coming up against her like this, and she jumps over it, and then she cuts the thing off, destroying the entire craft for no reason. And so there we have the most of the craft. So, like I said, we will pull open the cockpit like that. We will... I do not see the stand, which is mildly disappointing, but it's not important. I mean, it's disappointing, but I don't see a stand. If we remember Shin's craft, hers came with a stand, and I do believe this one also should come with a stand, but I do not see it. Definitely not gonna make one, that's for sure. Yeah, I don't see the stand. This doesn't openly advertise it as having a stand. And more importantly, thanks to the ball cockpit here, the weapon thing, there is actually physically no place to put the stand. Interesting, Jazwares, where you did it with one thing and you did not do it with the others. So it looks as if Kylo Ren just sort of his figure is kind of weird. So that's how he is. That's how we're going to put him in there. Unfortunately, there is no easy way for me to push him in there and then have him stay. It's not like Shin. We just fold down the cockpit and then it's good to go. I have a feeling that even after he's in there, he's going to kind of rattle around. So he's in there now. And you can not hardly see him. You have there some of the controls. Well, you know what we can do actually just before I wrap this up is just take a look at inside of it. And so there you see Kylo Ren. I'm going to now take him out because I do not believe he adds nor takes away to the value of the craft. There you can just see the seat. That's the part that you push up. Control yoke on the left, control yoke on the right, and then you have there the viewport from the front. So it's pretty much, if you've ever sat in a tank, it's going to look like the view periscope like that. That's what it's going to look like. And obviously here you can just see that they did do some really nice things with the viewports here. You can just see my finger through the plastic that serves as the viewing port through the back. Unfortunately, this thing here is not transparent, translucent, sorry, at all. Just the front here where there's no red, and the top there you can just see the bars. So fans and friends, there you have it, the modified TIE Whisperer based off the First Order Interceptor, which we never see the vanilla version of. We just see this thing, and it handily gets destroyed, not even in fire combat, just by some person jumping over and cutting off a wing. And more importantly, it does not come with a display stand. So just keep that in mind. I thought mine didn't come with it, but then I realized it does not actually show it anywhere on the box. And as well, like I pointed out, the heavy turret, which is conveniently facing backwards, it does not allow for it. So, it's Thomas from Toronto. Thanks for watching, and till the next one.